Good morning. Hopefully you guys are all well. Oh my gosh. I'm hopping on really quickly to do a little mom chat. I just woke up, I just finished my coffee, and I had an idea, and I just figured I'd come out really quick and connect with you all. This is kind of one of those big questions that I saw a lot when I was transitioning into being a stay-at-home mom and trying to figure all of that out, and finances and budgeting and the real world stuff. Like, I know my channel looks like I live in fantasy world half the time, and that's honestly how it feels because that's how I've set it up for this decade of my life. And it looks like I have no responsibilities. It looks like, I have nothing to worry about. We're just outside and playing all the time. But to get there, there was the investment of figuring it out with my partner and with my life and what that was going to look like. So today I want to talk to you guys about a little bit about my story, just to see if it might help somebody. How I became a stay-at-home mom, what I did before, kind of what my plans are, and how we make it work. Like, how do we make it work? I know a lot of people are worried about finances, of course, because if you don't have money, you can't provide for your family and you can't do things, right? So, what did I do before this? I was a business owner. I was a wedding photographer. I owned a thrift shop. I had a coffee delivery business. I kind of created a website before Grubhub became a thing, and I wanted to develop an app, but I just didn't know how. That was my first business. I resold vintage clothing and flipped it. I sold lingerie and had a lingerie company for a little while. I sold my drawings for a bit, just like kind of casually. I ran an Instagram account and I had a community there. So I had portrait photography, all sorts of different photography facets, and loved every minute of it. So that's what I did. And I made really good money. I made six figures. I mean, I had really good money. I had a really good business, and I would work when Addison was previously in school, and then I would wait and work evenings and weekends so she could hang out with my parents, because I had Addison before I met Nicholas. So it was just me and Addie for 4 years. And I would work when she was not with me. So when my mom would get home from work, or if my dad was available, or somebody else, or Nana, I would work evenings and weekends. So my wedding photography and my shoots with my couples and things like that were done in the evenings and on the weekends. That's how I made it work and made great money. So fast forward, we meet Nicholas, we vibe, we get married, we have Lane, we decide to possibly homeschool. And I was right in the middle of my business at the time. And I was like, I love my businesses, but something's just not feeling aligned. Like, my kids are with other people, they're raising them. I'm so busy. I'm trying to make more money. I have all this money, what am I doing? So I really took a break, took a step back, journaled, and really thought about it for a while, and realized I want to be a stay-at-home mom. I want to raise my kids. Addie was kind of like, I kind of want to homeschool. Okay, why? And we dissected that, what was going on there. And I had always wanted to homeschool, and she is such an extrovert that she wanted to go to school. So I was like, okay, you can go to school, fine. Because I was totally planning to homeschool her and then do my work in the evenings and on the weekends when I could drop her off at my parents'. So she ended up wanting to homeschool. So I kind of just shut everything down. I closed out and did the weddings that I had previously booked, closed my books, stopped this business, stopped that business, kind of closed everything down, which led to actually me deleting all of my social media, because I was just so attached and so addicted to the work and the hustle and the grinding and doing more and staying busy. And anybody who knows me is like, she was busy, and I was just always doing more. So priority shift. In my upper 20s, I was like, my kids right now are more important. And that was not a priority. Like, obviously they were my priority, but it was also like proving myself and kind of showing the world what I was capable of, and making money and having cool things and being able to go out and buy things and whatever. So I started homeschooling, shut off all those businesses, and it took literally 2 years for me to settle down and relax and not feel the need to show off what I was doing because I didn't have social media. So yes, I started this channel in a very slow, intimate, intentional way to connect, but it's so different of like, oh, we're going to the park, boop. I want to like put it on my story right away and take that moment away from my kids. I just slowed down completely, right? It was such a major shift for me. I slowed down. I shifted my priorities. I realized I wasn't doing some of the things that I loved as a kid. I wasn't spending enough time with my kids. Business was taking over my life. And even though I had fun, creative, beautiful, intentional businesses that I loved, I felt there was something else that I wanted / needed to do. So as far as the finances, which I've heard of people talk about this, and this is something that we had to really look into when I was starting to transition out of making money and into, stay at home. And Nicholas was literally starting his businesses. So it wasn't like a good time to be doing this. It wasn't like the perfect time. Like I had a lot of money. I was keeping us afloat sometimes while his business was starting. His business got into a good kind of place. And then I just stopped making money. Didn't have a savings account, didn't have is that a bug bite? It is a bug bite, pond days. So it kind of looks like I'm crying, but I just woke up. So it's not like that emotional of a story, but, or I kind of look like I did something else, but I assure you, I just woke up. Anyways, so we basically had to sit down and figure out, okay, this is our income now, which we're business owners. We don't know what the heck our income is going to be. I had a pretty consistent income and then I would have to save. So I would do my wedding services for between $3,500. And so I would take, I'm not even going to, because if you hush hush money, whatever, who are you helping? You're not helping anybody. And then, so that was just my wedding photography. I would take half to book the date and then the other half before you even get one picture. And so I would have a pretty consistent money income throughout the entire year. And I was doing between 30 and 50 weddings a year. So you do the math on that one. And then I had my side hustles because during the winter I wasn't doing anything. I was just chilling. It's kind of a dream job if you don't have kids. It's high pressure and you have to know what you're doing. You have to do the research, but it's a really good job. And you just get to go to people's weddings and share that moment with them. And then just sit on the couch and watch Gilmore Girls and edit on the weekend, during the week. But anyways, side note, sometimes I miss it, I went off on a tangent. So of course, I know you're going to ask, she seems like she misses this. Of course, it was beautiful. It was my little baby before I had all these real babies. It was a business that I built up and I had that skill. And sometimes but I also bartended and sometimes I miss that. And it's not like I'm going to go back there right now, to bartend and serve drinks, but that was a fun job too. Anyways, so we had to put all of our bills on a sheet and be like, what could we live without? Because we have all this money now, we're going to go to just this money over here. And we need to fit all of these bills into this box. Okay. So taking all of this income out. And we did it. You know what happened? I became a minimalist and I don't spend money. I don't get my hair done. I don't use any products for my hair. I don't buy makeup. I don't get my nails done. I do not shop. I buy clothes twice a year at the thrift shop and it equals $50 each time. I don't go and get services. I don't buy literally anything, but this actually happened by accident. I don't know what happened. I think I wanted a more simple life and I stumbled across minimalism on YouTube when I was pregnant and it just kind of waterfalled. And I became kind of an ultra minimalist, stopped wearing makeup, stopped doing anything, and I could not be happier. So that definitely helps. So if you're somebody if you're trying to make this work and you're wanting to stop making money or some of your money, but you're going to be shopping. Is there stuff in there? But you're going to be shopping. You're going to be going out for all these services. You have all of these subscriptions for all these streaming services. You have these apps that you pay for. It might not work and you might have to take some of that away because my income right now, my side hustle is being a minimalist and not buying any crap, not going into Target, not buying anything we don't need, not shopping 24/7, not getting my hair done, not using literally any products, but that's not even for the money. Like, that's just for like being a hippie, not wanting to use chemicals. My hair's never been better after I stopped using, it needs to be brushed right now, but it's never been healthier now that I stopped using any products on it. Anyways, that's a whole other tangent. That's a whole nother video, being a minimalist as a mom. Oh my gosh, so fun. So anyways, but with minimalism, I have never felt more rich in my life. And I'm telling you, I had a lot of money for just someone who was living in a tiny house on her parents' property with very minimalistic bills, with one daughter and 6 figures, if not more. You know, to myself, I was just going out to eat and tipping the server a lot. Like, that's what I was doing with the money, seriously, and buying like a lot of fruit and hanging out with my friends, and my favorite hobbies like hiking and kayaking, which are free. You know, so if you have expensive hobbies and stuff, this might not be something that you can do. If I had expensive hobbies and I still needed to work, this is what I would do, and this is what I did before I met Nicholas. I would do work that I could do around my kids' schedule. So I would homeschool them either, you know, whenever I homeschool them, and then the opposite of that. So if I homeschool them in the morning or during the day, I would work in the evening. So that's like bartending, that's like doing photography shoots in the evening when I could drop them off somewhere and run out, do the shoot, come right back. Or I could homeschool them intentionally all week and then work on the weekends. I would find work that I could do around them. So priority are the kids and homeschooling, and then making money. Okay. So if I had expensive hobbies, which you can do, you're worth it. My hobbies just happen to be free, which is paddleboarding, kite, you know, all the outdoor things, just sitting outside, looking at my chickens, gardening, you know, minimalism. I love that. It's definitely a hobby, but a lifestyle for me. So that's what I would do. I would find work, which I did for the 4 years that I had Addie. As soon as she came out of me, 6 weeks after, I picked up bartending. I did not have any experience, but that's what I did because I knew, okay, I can be with her all day. It's always been an intention. It's always been a priority since the moment I became a mom. I was like, okay, so she's my priority. How can I work and make money and pay for this apartment and mother her? So all week I was with her, and then in the evening I would go out and bartend, and that wasn't easy. Okay, it wasn't easy. She was a baby. I wasn't sleeping with her, and then I would go out and bartend all night. So sometimes if she took a nap in the car, I would pull over at like a gas station or literally a truck stop and take a quick nap. I forgot about that, but those were rough days, like single mom. Like, obviously I've always had my parents for the support and everything, but when you're a young mom, you want to prove to yourself and everybody that you can do it, and you want to tough it out. Take the help, trust me. And people want to help. Like, when people let me help with their kids, I feel so good. I'm like, please let me help you. I just want to hang out with them, and you need a nap, and I would love to give that to you. But anyways, I need to stick to the script here. I don't have a script, but I have notes. Okay, so that's kind of my story, you guys. And also, too, I want you guys to rethink this, right? So you're not giving up. I didn't give up my life to do this, okay? And this is how I see it. I see it as I am doing a project, like a decade-long project, 2-decade-long project, okay? And this is my priority, and I'm homeschooling them. I'm giving them such a solid foundation, a very present mother, my 100% attention, which you can still do if you work. You just have to figure out, like, if you wanted to homeschool them at night, you could work during the day. I've seen moms do that. They have a full-time job. They'll send them to like extracurriculars and do the drop-off, work all day, homeschool at night or on the weekends, because homeschooling, you can do whatever the heck you want. But this is a project for me. I had my life before. This is my current project. So in my 20s, I was running businesses, becoming the woman I am now. My 30s, 35, 40s, mothering. Fully, intentionally mothering. That is what I signed up for. That is my project. It's a beautiful project. It's a fulfilling project. I've never felt more full in my life. I've never felt more rich in my life. I've never felt more happy, more in tune with myself than I do right now. And I still make time for my own creative projects. You guys hear me talking about my music. I'm going out every night because that is my work right now. It's not making me money, but it's filling my soul so deeply. And I do that in my off hours when Nicholas, my partner, comes home, or if I didn't have him for some reason and we never met, I would drop them off at my parents' or Nana's and go and do an hour of music and still make time for myself and do my creative projects just aligned with that. But they are the priority right now. They are the project. And then I have my things. And then after they're grown, because they're going to grow up, it's inevitable. They're going to get bigger. They're going to be adults and do their own thing. And then I'm not going to be like, a lot of people are like, well, now what? I'm an empty nester, like I have to re-find myself. Yes. And you should be doing things that fill you in the midst of mothering, because that fills you so deeply that it helps you mother them. And then they can see that you're doing that. So they're not just like, oh, well, when you're an adult, it's just boring. No, I have projects. They see me like, okay, she's doing this project. I have such beautiful, beautiful intentional plans for when they're older that's the next project. I already have it figured out, picked out. I'm thinking about it. I'm manifesting it. I'm journaling it. I'm envisioning it. So when they're grown, when they start to be like, I'm independent, we're all 18 and above and we're all driving. We have jobs like mom sometimes, but like also leave us alone. I have my things ready to go. And so that's just the next project. And then from 60 to 70, that's the next project. 70 to 80, that's the next project. That's what I think. You have to rethink it. Mothering and parenting, it's just a project. It literally lasts for like not that long in the grand scheme of your life. It feels like a lot, but I saw a quote on Pinterest actually, of all things. You know your kids for the majority of the time as adults. You only get to like hang out with them for a couple decades as kids. And that's crazy. Like really just 1 decade, because Addie's 10 and she acts like a teen. She acts like a little adult. Like we hang out and I can like depend on her to help me and stuff. It's wild. So I think that's pretty much it. I was just going to touch on how I would do it if I was still a single mom doing this, trying to also homeschool. I would just work around the kids like I used to before I met Nick. And that's a little bit of my story. If you guys have any questions, I have seen, so when I was transitioning into homeschooling and specifically child-led homeschooling or unschooling, I did so much in-depth research and found beautiful podcasts and beautiful homeschooling parents who were working and unschooling, or they put their work on hold to do this or whatever. There are so many different dynamics. There are single moms doing this, single dads doing this. I could probably put you in touch with those videos if it would help you. So if you have any questions or comments that might serve someone else, please put them in the comments. I would love to have a conversation with you guys, since most of my comments are usually off in our daily vlogs. As well as if you guys want me to make videos about like my journey with minimalism as a mom, because you could be a minimalist human, but if you're a mom, you still have to have things for those kids because kids need things. So it's been a very interesting journey. So that is all I have. Hopefully this helps someone, because I know that I really had to dig and figure this out when I was first transitioning from being a busy business owner to a very slow, intentional, stay-at-home homeschooling mom, into kind of worrying about the next step. Like, if I do this, this is going to be my identity. My life's going to be over. I'm going to just be a stay-at-home mom. And that's not the case. So I hope that this brought you some grace or some inspiration or whatever. Please let me know if you want to hang out and chit-chat about anything in the comments. And I will see you in the next mom chat. Have a beautiful day, guys.